My primary training was a craft, initially it was really a craft training as a fine woodworker. I don't have a conventional art school background, you know, bachelor's degree in art, Master of Fine Arts. I had a design background and a design principal background in the sense that for a long time there I was employing a lot of other designers and working in a creative directorial capacity. And the move to sculpture from large format exhibition and event design is either a radical one or a completely logical step. It's just in the end sculpture was something that I felt compelled to do, and I think that's the case with just about all artists on the planet. It chooses them rather than the other way around. But fortunately for me, all that large scale fabrication experience, how to make things, was experience I was able to bring over with me into sculpture, and there's no question that that was a fantastic flying start, probably better for me than a conventional art school education. Practicing as a sculptor now is enabling me to play out interests, passions, fantasies even, that I've had over my entire life. There's a lovely connection between poetry and sculpture which I relate to. I'm not sure, I think it might have been T.S. Eliot who said that a poem is emotion distilled. And what I'm finding with the works that I'm producing now, I like that description for my sculptures, that they are an emotion distilled. I go through this massive development process. I probably map my processes out fairly carefully. All artists are in fact very disciplined in the way they do things. It is a making process, there has to be a lot of discipline. But so I map my process out, and the process tells me when I'm at the end. I mean, if I was a carver or an assemblage artist or, you know, a collage artist, then the process would be a lot more open-ended. And there's always that thing then of, you know, do I carve a bit more away? Do I stick a bit more on? But because at this point I'm fundamentally a fabricator, I know exactly. The process for me ends when the coating is on and we've applied just the right amount of steel wool to that final coating. The design process, you know, it's a structured, disciplined process. I have to collaborate with production partners. I'm trying to put a couple of furniture items into production, and that's good. You know, it keeps me collaborating with other people, and that keeps me learning. I find with the creative process, with the art practice, I can get a little bit into my own loop. You know, I don't sort of get out of the dark room often enough sometimes. So I like that. I like to, you know, do things on my own for a period of time and then collaborate. And I'm just finding that the art practice and the design practice, which are two separate things, are cross-informing one another in a very interesting way. I don't know how long it'll last for or whether that'll go on, but right now that's what's happening. Looking at the future, I think artists are always in a process where they're coming up against big questions in their, in a fairly self-obsessive way about, you know, their career. And the biggest question for me at the moment that I grapple with on a daily basis is my path to continue creating sculptures that are fundamentally large objects? Or is it to move in the direction of work that has a much more visibly evident narrative contained within the work? There is a massive narrative contained within the works I'm currently producing. It's just that I'm the only one that can really read that narrative. Now, not that that's unusual. I mean, the case obviously for many artists, but I'm wondering if I will move to a position where I'm creating works that are invested with a greater narrative for the audience. And I don't know what the outcome of that is. I would like to, you know, create, you know, maybe 1 or 2 large works a year and produce my small works, you know, a number of small works each year, and probably stretch myself by stepping right outside that and trying a completely new type of art project every year on top of all that. I don't know. I'm in a process that's working at the moment. I've got to see what happens.